Welcome to the first ever Prophecy Breakdown live stream. And let me also say that this is my first live stream of any kind, so you can definitely expect some hiccups. I just really want to talk today, just a general conversation about what's going on in the world. Um, as I've mentioned in a recent video, the just anti-Semitism is just going nuts around the world, and I just urge everybody to pray and just pray that this evil is thwarted. It's amazing to me that we're just 80 years from the Holocaust, and once again this same old satanic hatred of the Jews is just exploding, and it's just maddening to me. And another thing that's maddening to me is just watching the world. As a prophecy follower for 30 plus years, I've always known that this time was coming, that we would reach a time when the world is just lost its absolute mind. And because I expected that for so long, I'd convinced myself that I would be able to just ride it out with intellectual observation and emotional detachment. Man, was I ever wrong. It's just eating me up to see how upside down the world is. What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right, and good is evil, and evil is good. Just everywhere we look, it's maddening, and it drives me crazy. If you guys have a chance, I'd appreciate some prayers on that, because I have a hard time dealing with it. I naturally see a lot of it because I'm constantly digging for information on um, geopolitical events and things like that relate to prophecy. But it just drives me crazy. And jumping into kind of what's going on right now, let me show you a screenshot here. How maddening is this nonsense? These three countries want to reward Hamas for their atrocities by recognizing Palestine. It's, in addition to it being absolute evil to do this right now in the wake of October 7th, it's nonsensical. There are no borders. There's no government. There's no anything. There's never been a state of Palestine, as I'm sure most of you know. Palestine is a region, not a country, and it has never been a country. And even the name of the region was coined to mock the Jews. The Romans named it that to poke them in the eye by naming it after their ancient adversaries, the Philistines. So, if you look back at the language, Philistine, Palestine, that's where that came from. And to be clear, again, it's a region. It's not a country. It has never been a country. So these virtue signaling countries recognizing Palestine, what are they recognizing? Absolutely nothing. No borders, no government, no anything. They just they're just propelled, driven, compelled to to let their evil out. And it's just an atrocity that they would do this right now. Just like it's an atrocity that that's all this nonsense that's going on right now. These pro-Palestinian protests. It's just hideous. I have another screenshot here. Also, completely maddening. This UN ICJ ordering Israel to stop its operation in Rafah. You know, thankfully, Netanyahu has told them to pound sand, that they have no intention of going along or following this order. But it's just one more thing. It's just maddening. Uh, the UN, by the way, has evolved over the years into nothing more than a vehicle for anti-Semitism. If you look at the output of the UN, at the resolutions that are passed, the overwhelming majority of them are anti-Israel. If you look at the percentages, it will blow your mind. I wish I'd pulled up those percentages so I could share them with you, but I didn't. Sorry. But this ICJ is on the same level of laughability as the ICC, the International Criminal Court, issuing warrants for Israeli leaders. Just, you can't make this stuff up. Uh, off off the topic for just a moment. I've followed a group of attorneys online for a number of years. They're known as law tubers, and you know they cover various trials and offer up legal commentary, and I just find it fascinating. So I watch a lot of it. The guy who really launched the entire law tube uh, world is a guy named Nick Rekieta, and he's an attorney in Wisconsin, Minnesota, one of those upper Midwest states. But I started watching him when he was covering the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. You know, a live stream showed, you know, every bit of it. And he would comment on it, and a bunch of other attorneys were on the live stream with him. They commented on it. And so he's covered several trials. He covered the Johnny Depp Amber Heard fiasco in detail. You know, live streamed that. So I've just really enjoyed watching this over the years. Sadly, over the past, you know, several months, or maybe it's been going on longer, but I stopped watching Nick's live streams because he would go live late at night and just talk about a variety of things, just things in the news or uh, legal cases that are going on, whatever. And I've stopped watching him over the past few months because every time I watched him, he was just drinking, and he just kept drinking throughout the live stream until he was obviously drunk, and I just had no desire to keep watching that. And well, a few days ago, Nick and his wife and another woman who apparently was living with them, were all arrested. A search warrant was issued for their house. My understanding is that his pastor went to the police and expressed concern, and the police got a search warrant, went in, they found over 25 grams of cocaine. So, he was arrested, his wife was arrested, and the visiting woman was arrested. So I followed all of this pretty closely, and of course, a lot of people who claim to be, his friends and his colleagues, and now they're just milking it for all it's worth, just showing him at his absolute lowest, and just I've just found it really disturbing. So I've been, by the way, Nick and his wife have 5 kids, and it's just a tragic situation. And I've been moved to pray for Nick and his family, that Jesus will just step in and do a mighty work here. And if you want to look that up, it's Rekeita Law, and that's spelled Rekeita. If you see fit, you might say a prayer for them too. It's just it's it's a terrible situation, and when I watch all these videos about it, I just keep thinking, man, nobody's mentioning Jesus here. Jesus is what's needed here. The Holy Spirit is what's needed here to restore him and this family. So if you want to look that up and see what I'm talking about here, and if you feel led to pray on that I would urge you to do that. So thus far, I have no idea how many viewers we have. Uh, I'm not seeing any comments, but as I mentioned at the beginning, this is my first ever live stream. So it's entirely possible that that I have something set incorrectly. Maybe there are comments, and I thought I was configured to see them, and I'm not. But people who are here, I appreciate you being here, and I hope you'll continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I hope you'll pray that the evil of anti-Semitism around the world will be thwarted. I ask you to pray for mercy for our country, because I, in my opinion, we're just at, I think we're already under judgment uh, for the way we've just veered completely away from God in this country. But I fear that we're in imminent danger of massive judgment because of the way our leaders are betraying Israel. Genesis 12:3 is just as in effect today uh, as it was when God inspired Moses to write it down. And countries who go against Israel always pay a price. Uh, I've often thought or wondered or pondered the possibility that the United States was raised up and blessed like no other country in history, specifically to be here at this time in history and to support Israel. I don't know that's true. It's just something that I've often pondered. And historically, we have supported Israel to varying degrees, but but largely, since 1948, we've supported Israel, and now we're absolutely betraying Israel, holding up material that they need, withholding intelligence about where top Hamas leaders are, where terror tunnels are, and doing all this while, even while American hostages are being held. So I often pray for mercy for our country, and I'd urge you to join me in that, because I think we're in imminent danger of massive judgment. It's, we don't need to be betraying Israel. We need to support Israel to the nines. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're subscribed to replacement theology, you're just wrong, okay? The church is the church. Israel is Israel. Uh, the Jews are still the apple of God's eye, as they have always been. So that's just the way it is. So again, pray for mercy for our country, that God would not, smite us with massive judgment because of what our leaders are doing, because of the evil that our leaders are perpetrating. I just ask him to have mercy on our country, and not execute massive judgment against us over that. Okay. This has been an interesting experiment, and sorry for the rambling. Like I said, this is not only the first ever Prophecy Breakdown live stream, it's Chop's first ever live stream. So this was totally off the cuff, no real preparation, no anything, just turning on the camera and going live, and me sitting here yakking. So for those of you who have seen this, I appreciate you being here, and Maranatha.